Today, I am not standing in front of you as Rosa Parks. Rather, I am standing in front of you as a symbol of resilience, courage, born right from the heart of the civil rights movement in America. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Rosa Parks, and I am here to take you all back to that moment when the due course of history was changed. December 1st, 1955, another ordinary day in Montgomery, Alabama. I was a seamstress, a quiet woman born of humble origins. But little did I know back then, I was about to be thrust into spotlight, becoming a catalyst for change and a symbol of resistance against racial injustice. You see, those days, the South was a segregated place where the color of your skin dictated everything you could do, the place you could sit in a bus, the place you could eat in, or even the place you could live. African Americans were treated as second-class citizens, humiliated and discriminated at every place where they went and every turn they took. But that day, I had enough. As I boarded the bus, I took the colored section of people, as was expected of me. But when the driver, James F. Blake, came to me and said that I had to give up my seat for a white passenger, something inside me snapped. I was tired of giving in, tired of accepting the social cues, tired of being treated less than human everywhere. I refused to give up. I stayed in my seat, and by doing so, I stood a stand. And this small act of disobedience I did would later spark off a movement that would change the course of history of America. I was arrested, and my disobedience sparked off a boycott of the Montgomery bus system led by Dr. Martin Luther King. And for 381 days, African Americans shared the rights, marched together against the unjust practice of segregation in public transport system. Later, the Montgomery bus system boycott would become a symbol of non-violent resistance against racial injustice. Ladies and gentlemen, my act of civil disobedience or my refusal to get up from my seat that day was not just about the bus ride. It was a stand for every person to be treated equally, regardless of their skin color, with equal dignity and fairness. The strike or the struggle against racial discrimination was not easy. It required courage, resilience, and an unwavering determination. I was threatened. I was faced humiliation. But still, I never once wavered in my commitment to the cause. Eventually, the Supreme Court declared that differentiation of people in public bus transport systems was unconstitutional. My story is not just about me. It is the story of a collective effort to change a nation. It is the story of how ordinary people could come up, patching up their differences to act for an extraordinary task. It was the story of how a small act of defiance could bring about a big change that would entirely dismantle the basis of racial system in America. As Rosa Parks, I implore you to believe that. Do not ever underestimate your actions, how small their impact might be. One change, remember, one change always starts with one person, with one courageous act. Towards my conclusion, I would like to honor every soul that fought to end the racial discrimination in America and still fight for better world where everyone is treated equally based on their character and not their color. Thank you.
Good morning, honorable judges, respected teachers, and my companions. I am present here to declaim a speech given by Sundar Pichai to the graduating class of 2020. Sundar Pichai is a well-known personality. He is the CEO of Google and Alphabet. Born and brought up in India, he graduated from IIT in Kharagpur. He had a brilliant mind and he rightfully put it to use. How did he do it, and how can you do it too, is the main theme of the speech. So let's begin. Let me tell you a little bit about my personal journey to Silicon Valley from India 23 years ago. Born in India, like most of you, I got my first cell phone at the age of 12. However, in my case, it turned out to be a rotary phone. So it wasn't that great for selfies. But I still love to call my friends, play with it, even sometimes take it apart. That telephone cemented my fascination with technology. I remember sitting at my parents' house in Chennai and reading about the invention of the transistor at Bell Labs. And it came to me, the thought, that what matters most is the idea. It doesn't matter where you come from or what your background is. It's the idea that matters. One revolutionary idea, one brilliant invention can unleash entrepreneurs to revolutionize industries in ways you could never predict. Remember, getting into an elite institution does not guarantee success. It matters a lot, but it doesn't guarantee success. Life, it's important to keep that perspective in life. I'm sorry. It's important to keep that perspective in life. Life is a long road. It matters what you do. And loving what you do matters the most out of all that. It's important to keep that in mind. When you're trying to run something at the scale of Google, we currently have 60,000 people. What matters is a strong leadership team. And as a leader, most of what I do is learn to let go, empower people at all the different levels of the organization, and make sure that those people are successful at what they do. Most of your job as a leader is to remove barriers, roadblocks, and allowing those people to be successful at what they do. So, taking a look at the long arc of history, it tells us to be hopeful. So be hopeful. There might be things about technology that frustrate you, make you impatient. Don't lose that impatience. It is a thing that will create the next technological revolution. There might be things about our generation that frustrate you the most, like our approach to climate change or our approach to education. Be impatient. When you're impatient, you'll be able to change the world in your own way. You might not know how to do it, but the important thing is to be open-minded and finding what you love. Find what you love. Take your time. Don't do what your friends do, what your parents tell you to do, or what society extensively does. Take your time, find what you love, and you will be able to change the world. You might be getting a lot of advice today, and I'll leave you with mine. Be open, be hopeful, be impatient. That's it. Thank you.
Respected judges, teachers, and my dear friends, today I am here to declaim Rishi Sunak's first address speech as the Prime Minister of the UK. Good morning. I have just been to Buckingham Palace and accepted His Majesty the King's invitation to form a government in his name. It is only right to explain why I am standing here as your new Prime Minister. Right now, our country is facing a profound economic crisis. The aftermath of COVID still lingers. Putin's war in Ukraine has destabilized energy markets and supply chains the world over. I want to pay tribute to my predecessor, Liz Truss. She was not wrong to want to create progress in our country. It is a noble aim, and I admired her restlessness to create change. But some mistakes were made. Not born of ill will or bad intentions, quite the opposite in fact, but mistakes nonetheless. And I have been elected as the leader of my party and your Prime Minister, in part to fix them. And that work begins immediately. This government will not leave the next generation, your children and your grandchildren, with a debt to settle that we were too weak to pay ourselves. I will unite our country, not with words, but with action. I will work day in and day out to deliver for you. This government will have professionalism integrity, and accountability at every level. Trust is earned, and I will earn yours. I will always be grateful to Boris Johnson for his incredible achievements as Prime Minister, and I will always treasure his warmth and generosity of spirit. When the opportunity to serve comes along, you cannot question the moment, only your willingness. So today, here I stand as your Prime Minister, ready to lead our country into the future, to put your needs above politics, to reach out and build a government that represents the very best traditions of my party. Together, we can achieve incredible things. I would say that I am not daunted, and I know the high office I've accepted, and I hope to live up to its demands. We will create a future worthy of the sacrifices so many have made, and fill tomorrow and every day thereafter with hope. Thank you.
Good morning, judges, teachers, and my dear friends. Okay, so imagine a scenario where some people came to a village and destroyed your homes, took over your lands, and expelled you from your own home, and killed your family members ruthlessly just because you are unwilling to submit to their desires. Yes, that's what Israelis did to Palestinians. Rashida Khalid is a Palestinian-American politician and lawyer who won the Democratic nomination for the United States House of Representatives. In this speech, Rashida Khalid called out U.S. involvement in the Israeli violence against Palestine as well as the sufferings of the Palestinians. I'm the only Palestinian member of Congress now, and my mere existence has disrupted the status quo. I'm a reminder to believe that Palestinians do indeed exist and that we are allowed to dream. We are justice seekers, and Palestinians aren't going anywhere, no matter how much money you send to Israel's apartheid government. If we want to make good on our promises to support equal human rights for all, it is our duty to end our apartheid system that for decades has subjected Palestinians to inhuman treatment and racism. Reducing Palestinians to live in utter fear and terror of losing a child, being indefinitely detained and killed because of who they are under Israeli law. It must end. Sorry, it's been personal for me. Palestinians are still being killed as the world watches and does nothing. As Peter Bernard, an American activist film quotes, when you tell our people to forget its past, you're not proposing peace, you're proposing extinction. The Palestinian story is that of being made a refugee on the land you call home, which has been ongoing since 1948. There has been no recognition of the attack on Palestinian families being ripped from their homes in East Jerusalem right now or home demolition. No mention of children being detained or murdered. No recognition of a sustained campaign of harassment and terror by Israeli police against the worshippers kneeling down and praying and celebrating the holiest days in one of the holiest places. No mention of Aqsa being surrounded by violence, chariots, and smoke while people pray. Can you imagine if it was your place of worship for good terrorists? Could you pray as 10 grenades were tossed into your place of worship? If our own State Department can't even bring itself to acknowledge the killing of Palestinian children is wrong, well, I will say for the millions of Americans who stand with me against the killing of innocent children, no matter the ethnicity of faith, I will weep for all the lives lost under the unbearable status quo. Every single one of them. No child, Israelis or Palestinians, whoever they are, should ever worry that death will rain from the sky. You know, when I see the images and videos of destruction and death in Palestine, all I hear are the children screaming from pure fear and terror of losing a child. I want to share something our mother named Iman in Gaza Road 2 days ago. She said, tonight I put my kids to sleep in our bedroom so that when we die together. And no one would live to mourn the loss of one uncle. I stand before you not only as a congresswoman, but also as a granddaughter of a Palestinian immigrant and a loving granddaughter of a Palestinian grandmother living in the occupied Palestine. I can't stand silent when injustice exists, but the truth is obscure. And lastly, to my sibling Palestine, our Sheikh and the wife of Hannah, I stand here because of you. Thank you.